What's going on, everybody? Welcome to late night edition of Game Time Live. Yes, folks, I've got Daryl up at 11 o'clock at night. I don't have Daryl up at 11 o'clock at night. The Miami Hurricanes have Daryl up at 11 o'clock at night. We are coming to you live after the CFP. If the title makes you mad, man, you've got the right to comment, be mad at me. We're going to have some fun here tonight. We're going to talk about Miami outplaying Ohio State for probably 3 quarters. The third quarter, I will give credit to Ohio State. They played a good third quarter, and we've already got comments rolling in. Darren's in the building. Tornado bringing in a comment saying, let's go. Let's go. Indeed, Darren. What a CFP we had. Already 15 viewers.
He changed his call sign to Tornado finally. Listen, he's had
I just called him that.
He's had that nickname for like the last 14 years.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into it, folks. We're not going to waste any time. We're not going to waste any time. We'll do shout outs at the end, Daryl. We've got people flooding in, so we are immediately going to get into this. Daryl, I'm going to pull this up on screen real quick. All right. Can you tell me the difference between these two images, please? You see, one image, you've got Kyle Orton. The other one, you've got Julian Sayins. Can
is wrong.
Can you tell me the difference? I mean, same hairstyle.
Dude, that is the ultimate disrespect.
Same hairstyle. Both wore the number 10 at one point in their careers. I mean, can you tell me the difference?
Let me get this straight. What you're trying to tell me is this. Julian Sayins is the next coming of Kyle Orton.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, look, I remember when I was very little, it was Sunday Night Football. I was on a fall break, right? And the Dallas Cowboys were playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles had Nick Foles. Cowboys had no Tony Romo. And it was Kyle Orton at quarterback. And, the only reason that game was close, because guess who Kyle Orton kept throwing the football to? This guy right here, Des Bryant. That's all he did. And that's how we kept it. We lost. But that's how we kept it going.
So,
and you know what Julian Sayins did tonight?
What did he do tonight?
He threw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. And Jeremiah Smith juked out. That was one of my favorite plays of the night. Juked out 3 guys, gets in the end zone, touchdown. I was thinking, man, here come the Buckeyes, right? Man, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't really see a difference in the 2 photos here. You got Julian Sayins, you got Kyle Orton.
Man. They both had nice hair. Nice hair.
Not better than mine. I mean, I know I got mine up in a bun right now.
You got the good stuff, man. You probably got to get tied in the back and everything.
Look, it's all good and fun. My biggest thing, and I don't know if I've said it on here a good amount, because I'm not our biggest college football watcher out of the group. I stay in the know with it, but there's nothing been, at least for me, when you look at all of Sayins' big games this year, Texas, Indiana, and this game tonight, Sayins didn't do anything great or nothing like over. You look at Mendoza, you look at Simpson, those other 2 quarterbacks that I'm going to compare them to in this moment right now. They had big moments where they performed and kind of got over some adversity. And even Mendoza, I think Mendoza is going to have a real challenge tomorrow against Alabama. And not only that, all the teams that have byes are going to have to overcome some adversity. Every team that has had a bye thus far in the playoff is 0-5 right now, thanks to Ohio State losing tonight. A lot of adversity for these teams that have a bye. And I'm really curious to see, and I'm a little worried for Indiana tomorrow. Not only that, if you saw the pregame and the halftime when they went to the Rose Bowl, it's raining. It's going to rain tomorrow. How is that going to affect Indiana? How is that going to affect Alabama? It's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. We'll talk about that for a little bit. But, Daryl, your overall thoughts on tonight's game and Julian Sayins as I poke a little fun at him to start the episode. Ohio State fans, ridicule me all you want. I'm curious, obviously, what our other guy, Ramon Stallings, who didn't answer my phone call just now, I'm curious what he'll have to say. But if he's not here Sunday, I think he may be ducking.
So here's my take, right? So on Cott's Corner the other day, I said that it's going to be a tough physical game. I said 9.5 points was too much. Oh, is that reverb we got? Can you hear that?
No, you're good.
Okay. I said 9.5 points were too much. And I also said it was going to be really physical. I also said, Carson Beck, I've seen you in big games, and I haven't seen you step to the forefront and win a game for your team. He may not have won this game for his team tonight. He definitely didn't put the team in any bad positions as well either. I like what Carson Beck did on that third down play for that run and that touch and that first down in the fourth quarter. That was a big play right there to get that first down. He dropped his head and he went for the first down. So I want to apologize to Carson Beck because I haven't slandered him. I just haven't had a lot of faith and confidence in him. He outplayed Julian Sayins tonight. The game plan was real. We're going to put the ball in our quarterback's hand here in Miami, and let's see what happens. He didn't disappoint. Miami has speed. They've made just enough plays on the outside with that to open up that running game in the second half, the fourth quarter to seal the deal for them. So Carson Beck, from a Tide fan, roll Carson. Good job, man. But the other part of that is this. The depth was starting to impact Miami in that second half. That field goal that they got probably won them the game in the second half.
Yeah.
It gave them a just enough cushion, right? And they didn't give and they didn't fold. And the biggest thing for me from a person who's seen Miami in their best and in their worst over the last 30 plus years, I didn't see one 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness, taunting, or anything like that from the least disciplined team in the college playoffs as it stands right now. Miami is known to get the bad whistle, just like they did in 2002. They came out, they balled out, and all credit goes to them. Ohio State's a good team, and we felt all year that Ohio State was the best team.
Yeah.
We talked about this. These are 18 to 22, well, 23, 24-year-olds now, and you just don't know how they're going to respond. And maybe, just maybe, Ohio State waited a little bit too long to let the dogs go. Because that first half, they were very conservative. That pick six. When Daryl and I was watching the game, he says, "Does that play look familiar to you?" And all he said was Alabama, Oklahoma. He said he read that play. He knew what was coming. And it was a very similar play. They thought they had a quick out. He jumped that. He didn't even try to touch the blocker. He went right around him to get to the ball. Very impressed with that, man. Congratulations to Miami. Congratulations to my man Michael Irvin, man. Hey, Michael Irvin is on 10. I don't care what you say about Michael Irvin. That dude deserves all the joy that he has right now. We know he's gone through a whole lot in his playing days with all the off the field challenges, but he's got some personal things going on now with his wife having some real medical challenges. And that dude has stood tall, stood beside her in her weakest moments. And I'm telling you, I'm proud that he's out there out front. He's not hiding. He didn't run from anybody. So kudos to Michael Irvin. Never been a Michael Irvin fan or a Dallas Cowboys fan, but kudos to him, man. You got to give credit where credit's due. So the best team won tonight, and that's Miami. That's my take on that game tonight.
Yeah, the best team did win tonight, and the best team also got into the playoff, right? For our Notre Dame fans as well. Man, I don't know, man. Notre Dame, they wouldn't have won this game tonight. I'm just being honest.
Who'd you say? Who?
No, Notre Dame. JB. I think that I don't know.
Notre Dame. What?
Yeah.
They have a football team?
Did they play? I don't even think they played in a bowl game. If I'm remembering correctly.
I don't. I'm trying to think.
I think JMU's better than them too, right? And
yeah, I'm thinking Tulane because it was a toss up, Tulane and Notre Dame. And I think what happened was Notre Dame said, "There's no way we can win this game. Why don't we just go ahead and not play or something like that? The Fritos Bowl or something."
Yeah. Pop Tart Bowl, actually. They didn't want their helmet to be covered with sprinkles. They decided to sit this one out.
So you're saying they didn't deserve sprinkles, is what you're telling me?
Nah, they didn't even deserve any pop. I got Pop-Tarts downstairs. So
how is Notre Dame catching strays on a great night like this for Miami?
Because you know why all we heard from JB and all these other Notre Dame fans is, we should have been in the playoff. Miami. Well, look what Miami did tonight. Something y'all couldn't do in the national championship. So I don't really know what to tell y'all. Have fun in Cancun, where y'all are. I don't know. Y'all aren't playing any games. So I mean,
so with that said, if you said Ramon didn't respond, I'm sure he's probably trying to get to us right now because we've talked about this, right? Everybody knows I'm a Bama fan. There he is. There's my boy. There's my boy. There he is. There he is. Oh, I can't add him to the stage. Are you trying to add him to? There he is. There he is. Everybody, welcome Ramon Sayin.
Ramon, the council is all here. Man, hey, Ramon, real quick, before we get your thoughts, I just want to ask, can you tell me the difference between these quarterbacks for a second here? I'm going to pull it up for you. Can you tell me the difference here? I mean, when I'm looking, I feel like I'm looking at the same guy. I don't really see a clear cut difference. It looks like the same photos to me.
Actually, his numbers was really good, except the bad interception he threw. That darn what's his name?
Give him the floor. Hey man, listen.
Look,
hey, first and foremost, real talk. When your team loses and you come on the show to take all that, that's credit, because I know a lot of people that will run and hide and blame everything under the sun. So when your team loses, you come out here, you take it like a man, and you move on. So kudos to my boy Ramon, because I got a bunch of guys in that group we in, Ramon. You know damn well they wouldn't be on here.
Oh, sir. No, I'll give you props.
You look at my man Sayin, and not looking at that last interception. He's 21 of 34, 287, 8.2 yards, 1 tutty and 1 interception. A bad interception, but that's that stupid.
There we go. Stuff.
You hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, you're a little choppy. It's all good.
Man, so 22 35, 287, 8.2 yards. It's not really. That's a decent game. That one interception at the end. That's just. Look at that. Really, that early interception was bad. That pick six was terrible. What I'm more concerned about is I want to see how tomorrow plays out.
Yep.
Because right now the team with the bye is 0-5 in college football playoffs.
Just brought it up. Yep.
Whew. And if we get multiple teams, because I think Georgia's going to lose. And if we get an upset from Indiana and an upset from Texas Tech, they're gonna have to rethink this 25, 30-day layoff.
Yeah, it was 27 days for Indiana is going to be, and I want to say it was 26 for Ohio State. So you're talking about 4 weeks, man.
Yeah. Because if you look at it, man, Ohio State played the second half. They started rolling.
Yeah.
The first half, they were terrible. I mean, like on all sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So okay, if you say we relook at it, right? So that means you'd have to condense the playoffs is what you'd have to do then. You'd have to squeeze the time, not condense meaning less teams. Remember, it's going to be more teams, more than likely effective January 23rd. And I think that conversation is probably to be had. Say what?
You cut? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I think you cut
July. January 23rd.
The championship, the conference championships.
You cut them?
Man, he is.
Yeah.
See if we can remove him. Hey, Ramon, we have to
bounce.
Hey, remove yourself out and come back in because you're.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah. All right, he'll be back in just a second.
He comes out and comes back in and see if we can get a better signal. Yeah, but I think what he's talking about is this time frame, right? You're talking about 4 weeks. I it can be good, it can be bad, right? I think it depends on what you do with it. But for me, January 23rd is going to be the day of reckoning anyway. That's when the decision is going to be made to expand the playoffs. And at that point, it won't matter, right? Because if you're going to do 4 more teams, you're going to probably push things up a week. So the likelihood then is there. Because think about this. What if Oregon had not had a first round bye but didn't play in that conference championship? That's 35 days.
Yeah,
that they would not have played. So I think they may condense it and in the time frame and not have such a gap. I mean, just think, Bama beat Oklahoma. They had 12 days. In the past years, it was week after week after week after week. So yeah, they may look to do something like that, but I don't know that that's the answer as to what happened to Miami. I mean, to Ohio State and to A&M. I just think that that they just got beat. To be quite honest, you're rested. Is it rust versus rest, right?
and I'll say for Ohio State, I mean, their track record has shown all season that, I mean, look who they've played. They played Texas and they won, but it was 10-3 start of the year, and everybody kind of forgets the end of the year, beginning of the year at that point when we're at this point in the year. They lose to Indiana in the conference championship. Other than that game against Indiana, the rest of their schedule, they didn't play anybody of high value competition. I mean, they played some competition, but they didn't have an Oregon. They didn't have, obviously Michigan, but Michigan wasn't Michigan this year. They haven't played a lot of big name teams this year. So I think the Indiana game was a punch in the mouth, and I think there is some credit, there is some truth to these teams having such a long time off. And then I agree. I think Ohio State had a good third quarter, and I think they had an okay fourth quarter. The third quarter, I was like, well, it looks like they're going to route back here and win this game. And I was expecting the same thing that obviously you just kind of gave your apology to Carson Beck. I was expecting, all right, how is Beck going to mess this up and give the game to Ohio State here? Right. He didn't. But they had a run game to lean on, and that run game and that O-line for Ohio State or for Miami is what really helped them win the game tonight as well.
Especially
for Ohio State, I think maybe it was the lack of ranked teams that they played this year. They played Texas at the start of the year. They then lost to Indiana in the conference championship. But when you look at the rest of that schedule, and I'll let Ramon speak about that, when you look at the rest of that schedule, there wasn't a test. There wasn't a lot of adversity unless you're just talking about the Michigan game. Ohio State got the job done when they needed to most of the year. And we didn't talk about them much on this show for that simple fact, it felt like. At least when I go back and watch shows, we're never sitting here and we said, man, Ohio State really got tested, or they were in a close one. Now, it was maybe close in the first quarter or the first half, but it wasn't a full game where they were in a battle all year except for Texas, Indiana, and tonight. And they were 1 for 2 in those aspects. And week 1 kind of doesn't count because everybody's figuring out their offenses, and both teams, we agreed, if you go back to that episode, played very conservative.
No, good points on all fronts. Ramon, you're back now. I'll give you the opportunity to finish what you were saying about
I disagree with the schedule thing because can you hear me?
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
I disagree with the schedule thing because I think everybody's schedule. I don't know who really plays a tough schedule. And I say this because we talk about certain conferences playing completely tough schedules, right? But then we look at how that conference, like the SEC, sucks right now in bowl games. Like, they're terrible. They're really down. So then who's playing tough games? Who's playing Miami? They had a decent schedule. They played 2 tough games, right?
But I think that tested them early on, and I think that's why they were able to persevere tonight. I don't think there was a point in that schedule. I'm not saying you got to play tough teams every week, but I don't think there was a moment in the season where Ohio State had a regular season game where they were tested and there was a moment where they had to overcome adversity. And I don't think that's why they were prepped for not only the Indiana game, but also this game tonight. More so this game. The Indiana game was close for most of the night. But that's kind of my point with that. I'm not saying they got to play tough teams every week like it's an SEC schedule. I'm just saying there wasn't a game that tested them.
I don't subscribe to that schedule toughness because all these schedules are all playing all right teams.
Yeah. No, I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Up again.
What I'm seeing is this, and I want to see if it holds true. They sucked in the first half.
Yeah.
But Miami had something to do with that.
In the first half.
Miami had a lot to do with that, though. That defensive front from Miami teed off. When I got home from the game,
they were hitting people.
We listened on the radio. I'm just hearing them being teeing off. And if you remember now, hold on. Remember, they fumbled the ball in the first quarter, and they gave it to Ohio State. So, turnovers happen on both sides. They were driving. Their first 3 drives, they got on the other side of the 50-yard line. They meaning Miami.
I'm watching this game, right? I'm watching. I'm not listening to the radio. I'm watching it. They're blowing.
I don't have to watch it to know there's on the 50-yard line.
Stop. Huh?
I don't have to watch it to know that it's on the other side of the 50-yard line. Hell, the guy said they're the 35-yard line. Shit.
Yes. Are you done? Are you done talking? Because you talk a lot.
No, that's okay.
Let me finish.
But that's what we do on the show. That's what we do on the show, Ramon. Ain't nothing different.
This is what I'm saying. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk, man.
No, I'm done. I just want to make my point, knowing that I don't have to watch the game to know they're on the other side of 50. That's my only point, bro. It's my only point. Go ahead. I might let you make your point.
No, I'm not talking no more because you don't shut up.
Well, don't talk then. Sit there and watch the show. Well, watch the show.
Well, I'm gonna do it.
So as I'm listening on the radio, and I'm hearing the guy say, "Hey, they're at the 35-yard line," and then what happens is what? There's a fumble. Ohio State gets that fumble, and then they got the ball. Those are facts. No one has to watch the game to know that. You can be sassy all you want, but I'm telling you, that's a fact. Hey,
Isaiah, did you watch the game?
Take the loss.
I was at the game, but I wasn't listening.
Same thing. Same damn thing.
This is you. Be quiet, cop, please, for a second.
Come on, man.
Isaiah, so I'm watching the game, right? And Miami's throwing all kind of they're throwing text blitz, they twisting everything, and our interior linemen are not getting overran. They're missing assignments.
Yeah.
People are going by them like you're not even touching guys. You're missing assignments. That's that long gap that we're not prepared for. Now, as you've seen, those same blitzes and those same stunts didn't work in the second half once they got that motor running. Once they got going in a little bit. That is a huge problem. And I just want to see if that continues with the next 3 games tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's a bigger concern for me because if not thinking about Ohio State, just thinking about football in general. If we see tomorrow 3 teams, they get buys set, and now it's 4 teams in a row, 8 teams in a row that got beat with buys, then it's time to redo the 12-game playoffs. Yeah, that's the big thing.
Well, it's not going to be a 12-team playoff. Come the 23rd, it's going to be
16, 40 team, 100 team. It can't be a 30-day gap.
They're going to condense it. What I'm saying, that's why I say when you cut out, it's going to be condensed. Remember how the 14 playoff was? They played every week.
Yeah.
After the conference title game, everyone played, and that's why I think they've got to do something, right? Because the way it's set now isn't going to go bode well. If, in fact, to your point, if Georgia loses tomorrow and Indiana loses tomorrow, not so much Texas Tech, Oregon, but you're talking about Georgia and Indiana lose tomorrow. That's going to be something. Listen, I'm not saying it has to change. I'm just saying it's going to be conversation about it.
But why not Texas Tech and Oregon?
Because
why isn't it as important?
Well, for me, because this is Texas Tech's first year in this type of atmosphere, right? So they're in there. That's fine. They're playing, but I'm going to look at also Indiana too. But I want to see what happens with the Georgia having that competition, and then having Alabama and Indiana. I think that's going to be 2 more competitive spirited game, hard hitting spirited games than the Oregon and Texas Tech game. That's just my thought. Hell, I could be 100% wrong, and that's okay. But I just think in this case, if those 2 things happen, because people talk about Georgia, people talk about Alabama. Now, of course, people talking about Indiana, right? Hey, look what happened here again. Look what happened to Ohio State. we need to rethink this. That's why I think it's going to gain momentum, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change.
I still think we're getting to a point, and I think this only emphasizes what we talked about. I think we're going to get to a point where they're going to say, look, we got to condense the schedule. Whoever has the best record out of your conference is the champ. We're not going to play these games. And I could see the teams all saying, well, you know what? Sure, why not?
Money. That's why.
Man, when you look at these numbers at Ohio State and Miami, total yards, who had the more total yards in this game?
I would say Ohio State did, probably.
Yeah, yep. Who had the most first downs?
Probably Ohio State.
It was equal. You know, time of possession really close. Now they on third down conversions, they converted a lot versus us. And a lot of those was in that first half.
But
we did not get going into that second half. We did not get going into that second half. Now, you know, Coach, they got to do a better job of somehow getting them going, somehow manipulating it. What'd you say?
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, they've outgained them, outrushed them, out first down them, and you lose. It's got to be on somebody. So Miami played a really good game. I give you that.
Oh,
but to that point, that coaching staff needs to be looked at. And I'm not going to blame Brian Hartline, who was on the sidelines, who took his play calling away from him in one game. I don't think that would be fair to assign blame to Brian Hartline leaving, because many teams have had coaches leave during the playoff season, the bowl season, to go to other teams, right? At least he was there. Hell, you know, I remember when Lane Kiffin left Bama on the heels of the national title game. So at least he was there. You know, I just think that the coaching staff need to look themselves in the mirror. What took you so long?
Yeah, Ramon, what were you gonna say?
I don't even know if the coaching staff needs to look itself in the mirror. And I'll know more tomorrow, I think. We're finally getting to the 12 best teams. The 8 really good teams. All 8 of these teams are really good.
Yep. Best really, 8 in the country, by the way. Best 8.
Yeah. I don't know, and we'll see tomorrow. Can you not play for 30 days and beat a team that's one of the best 8 that's been grinding all continuously? That'll be a concern. Can you beat that?
So, all right, devil's advocate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Georgia wins, Indiana wins. Where do we play in that discussion now? Because now Georgia wins, Indiana wins, and say Texas Tech wins, which I think they will anyway. It's going to be close. It's a
shootout.
But so say the 3 teams with the byes win. What does that fit though?
That eliminates that argument. That's why I said.
It'll take the argument.
I've said multiple times, I'll know more tomorrow. I'll see more tomorrow. You know, because now if you see something and then now it's become a trend, it's going. You guys say, okay, now if I'm a number 1 team going in, I'm like, man, do I want to buy?
As I sit here,
man, that's tough.
As I sit here at 11:36 p.m. as we're about to enter the new year,
this is New Year's Eve. Hey, y'all, I'm not. Hey, we don't have no parties or nothing, right? Because my party is gonna be in the bed snoring in about 45 minutes. Y'all going anywhere? No, really. Y'all ain't going nowhere, are you?
I'm good.
Okay, all right.
My gut feeling tomorrow is this at this moment is Texas Tech beat Oregon in a shootout, and I think Dante Moore looks great. I think
that's your boy. You doubling down.
I think Indiana does lose to Alabama, and I say this because one reason only. I have doubted Alabama multiple times through the course of the year. When they went down 17-0 against Oklahoma, I said, well, there it is. When they played Georgia, I said, give me Georgia. And Bama looked really good. Tomorrow it's going to rain all day, they said. I'm curious to see how Indiana is in that environment. When I think of Alabama, I think of that dirty SEC grit grind. I think they can handle the weather. I could be completely wrong, and I want to be wrong. I want Indiana to win. But a part of me is done betting against Alabama. So I'm going to say Alabama. And Ramon, me and you are seeing eye to eye on this. I do think Ole Miss is going to stick it to Lane Kiffin. and I think they will beat Georgia because Georgia, there's been multiple times this season where they've almost folded and they haven't. That's a good thing in my opinion.
Would you rather almost fold and not fold?
Yeah,
that's sort of like winning ugly or losing pretty, right?
I got Oregon winning, I got Bama winning, and I got Ole Miss winning. Now I can't really believe anything Coach Sig says because I think that he'll play possum sometime. You know what I'm saying? It's part of his whole thing, and he's good at doing that. But did you hear his quotes? Did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
He's firing this whole state up, man.
Yeah, he said he expressed frustration with the team's playoff practice prep and the travel disruption and the long layoff and not being able to tie up the loose ends in these first several practices leading into this the Rose Bowl, and he had some concerns.
He's trying to avoid that rat poison, right? But here's what I would say, right? I get what you're saying, Isaiah, about SEC dirty. Alabama can't run the ball, man. And here's the deal: if you can't run the ball and it's raining, it's going to be more difficult to throw the ball. And hold on, I'm sure. I'm let you get your point. Ty Simpson probably has the smallest hands of any quarterback in the last 8 teams. It's going to be tough for him tomorrow throwing a wet ball if they can't run.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, poor Bama. No, I'm just saying they haven't ran the ball on great fields.
Yes.
Right? Now, maybe you can make a guy miss, a guy slips, and you get up the field 60 yards. That's possible. But you're going to need something like that because you can't have Ty Simpson sitting back there in that pocket, like I said last week, with the I was going to say court awareness again, with such poor field awareness from his right side, which isn't his blind side.
Yeah.
You go back and look at his sack fumbles from his right side, not his left, not from his side where he can see.
Yeah.
Listen, I took Indiana on the recording, and I'm gonna take him again. I think Sig has a bag of tricks for Alabama. Eli said, "Hey, Indiana's." He says they haven't played anybody with speed like Bama. Yeah, they did. That team's Ohio State.
Yes,
that team's Ohio State. So it's do I think all 3 games are gonna be good games, tough games? Yeah, no blowouts. If there's gonna be a blowout, I said on the show, I think it would be Georgia versus Ole Miss. If it's gonna be a blowout.
I want to give a shout out here to Nate Cater. She said, I said she, he, she, whatever, from Florida. So shout out to you. Daryl will be in Orlando in a couple weeks. So just shout out to that person watching the stream. Tomorrow is going to be interesting for my personal reason for this, and one reason only. We just talked about it on Monday, Daryl. Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, all projected as first-round quarterbacks.
I put my
here. This is the chance for all 3 of these quarterbacks, especially Mendoza and Simpson, to show us something. Show us something right here, right now. You're in the rain. It's going to be a tough environment in the stadium that should host the national championship every year, in my opinion, in the Rose Bowl. This is a big moment for both of those quarterbacks. Dante Moore, well, yeah, it's a big moment for him too. But for those 2 quarterbacks specifically, and probably more or less Simpson, since he's lower in the draft board in the mock drafts compared to Moore and Mendoza, it's going to be a big game for Simpson to prove himself, rise his stock up a bit. Obviously it's kind of hard to do that now later in the season, but big opportunity for all 3 of those quarterbacks. But more specifically, if it will rain tomorrow in Pasadena, Mendoza and Simpson, I'm going to be watching them very closely just because a bad game, a really, really bad game could be the difference between staying number 1 overall and going from 15th or 26th to somebody reaching in the top 10 to grab you.
But you just said it though, right? It's in the rain, and it's one game. And I still think Mendoza is going to probably be the number 1 pick in the draft. And I don't think anything short of him having some type of bad injury is going to change from that, because bad weather, they're Indiana, right? They're playing big, bad Bama, right? But I just think he has what it takes, man. I've seen this guy play all year. I didn't know much about him prior to this year. But, man, he said and done everything right. When the chips are on the table, when they needed a play against Penn State, he made the play. 2 throws against Ohio State, made the throws. It just seems like this guy, he's not, and everybody knocked him for, oh, he only threw for 2,800 yards. So I don't care. Andre Ware threw for 5,000. Look him up, Isaiah. Anyway, the point being is, it doesn't matter how many yards you throw, it's when you throw those yards.
Yeah.
And when he made those throws, his team needed him.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, I'm not, trying to be reverse psychologist. I just think Mendoza's probably, if you look at these quarterbacks that are left now, I think he's the best quarterback of the 7 teams that are left. That's just my thought. I think he'll be affected less than maybe Ty Simpson will.
Yeah, I mean, I think there has been moments this year where Simpson has looked rattled. So I don't necessarily disagree with you. I'm very high on Dante Moore, but I have a lot of confidence in Texas Tech with the way they've looked. I know we can say, oh, they're in the Big 12, whatever. I have a lot of confidence in Texas Tech. And not only that, I go back to last year with Arizona State. They almost knocked Texas out in a very aggressive game, physical game. I've got a lot of confidence in Texas Tech. They have the ability to put up 40 points, 35 points. I think them and Oregon are going to play a really good game. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to OT and they combine for about 70 to 80 points. I think they're going to have a shootout, and I think it's going to be one of the best games to watch come tomorrow. I think it's going to be great.
They're playing in Miami, am I right?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So weather shouldn't be an issue tomorrow. The field's going to be in great shape. It's going to be a fast track. Everything should be lined up for it to be a high-scoring game.
I think it'll be fun. I like Texas Tech. I think they're only going to get better as we continue to roll on.
I don't think I may be in the minority. I don't think the kid from Indiana is a surefire number 1 draft pick.
I agree. I agree with it.
I think he's I think he's very talented. I think he's good. I think he's a system quarterback. If he was going to like a San Francisco, I think that he'd be like all pro, incredible, super duper. If he was going to a Chicago Bears offense, he would be that guy, the man. But I think there's several teams that if he goes to, he's going to be in trouble because he's not that type of dude. Where I think the kid from Oregon can go to multiple different type of offenses, different type of teams, organizations, and still survive. But
we just click, man.
I don't know.
Are you saying talent, or are you saying just the pick itself? Are you saying you don't think he's going to be number 1 pick?
I think he's going to be the number 1 pick.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, got you. Okay.
I don't think he should be a number 1 pick.
Got you. Okay, yeah.
So
I would take Dante Moore.
I think the kid from Oregon is more talented, just
all
more
the guys,
gifted. I think
right.
Fernand. I think the kid from Indiana is a kid that when he's in his fit, he's unstoppable.
And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. And
right, that's all I was going to say.
He said, "What is his best NFL trait?" And I said, probably his only best football trait, other than like his leadership, is his ball placement and his ball accuracy. I mean, other than that, he doesn't have the strongest arm, and he's not that mobile. Dante Moore reminds me of a CJ Stroud, of that archetype. I'm not saying he's going to do what he did.
He looks like old boy from the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and lead the Raiders to an AFC championship in year 1 like Jaden Daniels did. I'm not saying he's going to take the Texans out of mediocrity like CJ Stroud did. All I'm saying is he's got the archetype. He's got the tangibles of a modern day quarterback that can throw the ball, and he can also run and throw on the run. I'm not saying he's got the best arm. I'm not saying none of that, but he's got all those tangibles that everybody looks for in a quarterback nowadays, where Mendoza can run, but at best, him and Simpson are pocket passers, and that's a dying age.
Well, I think we agreed. This is probably 3 weeks ago now that we said all these guys are projects. None of the and so when we're talking about, I said none of these guys should be a starting quarterback on anyone's team come the fall.
No.
You let these guys sit and let them learn, right? You thrust these guys into the starting lineup. You give them the keys to the house, the car, the RV, and then they wet the bed, and then all of a sudden you got to restart your clock again. So yeah, to that point, yeah, I like Mendoza more than any quarterback in his final 7, but that doesn't mean I like him to the point where he's going to be a starting quarterback in September of 2026. But but the league is so quarterback heavy. Remember what they tell you: 2 things that the NFL tells you: it's an honor and a privilege to play in the NFL, and the quarterback is the most important position. You got to have one, which says one of these guys is going to probably be picked number 1.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance somebody will reach for Simpson, right? And I think after tonight, maybe a team takes.
I hope somebody does.
I think there's a chance somebody takes Carson Beck maybe a little higher than we all thought because of how he played tonight, which, you know what, fine, fair enough.
Hey, let's be real, man. I mean, Carson Beck played a very tough game. He played a tough winning football game. But it wasn't a great game.
No, it wasn't great.
They said the Big 4 plays defense now.
Carson Beck didn't play a game that will put him in the top 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd. He's a 4th, 5th round guy.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be interesting. We appreciate all the love here on New Year's. Man, we got to start doing more post-game stuff and live reaction stuff.
Hey, if we had our system right back in June, we'd have been all right. We would have been
live for we'll say it right now. We're gonna go live after the Super Bowl, and we're gonna go live after the NBA Finals, more than likely. And that goes for every game. That is our plan moving forward. Man, I mean, I think tonight was very interesting. Because Ramon, I'm gonna ask you this because I asked it to Daryl today when we were at the field house watching the Pacers and Grace College, and we'll talk about more about Grace after we get done with this. The wide receiver from Auburn. Is it Cam Coleman, whatever his name is? Yeah. There's a lot of rumors flowing about him. He just entered the portal. He was the reason Auburn was fairly good from everything that I've done, research and everything that. What would you like him at Ohio State? I know there was a college football podcast that I follow. They were talking about him going to Ohio State and being paired with Jeremiah Smith. And somebody said, well, Julian Sayins better have 75 touchdown passes. Obviously, they're joking. What would you think of that? Because I want to say Ohio State's already a complete roster at this point. Obviously, now, you know, they'll have people graduating and stuff like that, and they're going to be contenders. But what are your thoughts on this roster moving forward? And also Julian Sayins as a quarterback? Because you've watched them all year. Was there anything that heading into these playoffs that scared you a little bit that showed itself tonight?
Well, if we talk about transfer portal and getting people out, you know, I would like to see the Buckeyes somehow, some way get a field goal kicker, because if he makes the field goal, the damn game is tied, and now we play it a whole different way. Go get a field goal kicker. How about that? That's the first thing I want you to do. Get a field goal kicker. That it changes the whole outcome of this game if you can get somebody who can kick a damn field goal. All right. That's the first thing. Spend all your money. Get all the collective, all the alumni, everybody, man. Empty the piggy bank, man, dude. Go to the cash checking place and get a cash advance and get a kicker. That's what I want you to do. Now,
did you forget, Ramon?
What?
About a month and a half ago, we had the same damn conversation. Alabama, Ohio State, the only 2 teams don't have kickers.
I know, and we still ain't got one, man. So that's my first one.
Hey, real quick, because JB commented in the Facebook Live. He said he said Chargers are a letdown. At least the Chargers are in the playoffs.
Hold on, man. Why are we talking about the Chargers? Stop.
Because JB's watching. JB, at least the Chargers are going to be in the playoff, unlike the Irish. That's all I gotta say. At least the Chargers are going to be in the playoff, and they want to play football games, unlike the Notre Dame Irish. All right. Marcus Davis, Titans job.
If I'm Ohio State, and I'm looking for
love JB
a receiver, I'm probably not getting Cam Coleman.
No.
I would like Omarion Miller.
Okay.
From Colorado. Because him in the slot with what
What
we
school
do,
again?
huh?
What school?
He from the University of Scott Nichols.
You know.
I hope he looking. Oh, bandwagon.
You sure?
Fair weather fan.
You sure you want him? Because he may have a little Dion stench on him. I know you don't like a lot of the Sanders.
Hey,
the
we
Sanders
could get that off of him, but using him in the slot, and then you got them big boys, Jeremiah Smith and my man Chris Henry coming in, we be all right.
There you go.
Like
there you go.
Now, as far as Julian saying, for his first year, this is a first-year player, first-year starter. To be a first-year starter and invited to New York as a Heisman candidate is crazy. It's insane. The second half that he had was insane. This dude got 2 more years of college ball, 1 more year of college ball, something like that. Like,
next year.
I'm not worried about him. I'm good with him. You know, nothing that showed tonight scared me about being an Ohio State fan and liking the program. You know what? We played great in the second half. We played bad in the first half. We got to learn how to, if they don't change the format, we have to learn how to somehow make this better. How do we prepare to look good as soon as we hit the ground running for the first quarter, second quarter, you know, and not wait till the second half to get running and get rolling and get a kicker, get a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Miami had a week that they played. They revved up. They got some kinks out because they looked better this week than they looked last week.
Yeah,
especially offensively,
execution wise.
Good point.
They look bad execution wise. Like they look, and I don't mean like had nothing to do with the opponents. I'm talking about just pure execution, knowing where to go, when to go, play calling. They look better than us. And then you take a team like Miami that has a week of live preparation that's already good. That shit, excuse my language, is physical as they come in the box. I mean, that's a recipe for if you've been laid up, going half speed, thud, not taking people to the ground. You know, it takes you a little bit of time to ramp up. So we got to somehow simulate that if we're going to continue with this format. And that's something that the coaches got to do.
Yeah. The more we're sitting here talking about it, I think it would be it would be a shame if all the teams complain about this, about the bye and, he's been off for 3 weeks. I feel like that would be, I don't know. You look at where college sports is at. I'm not even going to talk about college basketball because that may be even worse than where college football is at. Everyone talks about these problems with the college football landscape, and you got guys from the NBA G League and the NBA trying to go back down to college. Like college basketball is in such a worse state than college football is right now. So I think for me, where college football is at right now, if we get to a point in the season where we can see a team like Texas Tech beat a Georgia or, some of these teams getting some upsets wins in the moments that matter, this is what everybody wants, right? This is what everyone's tired of watching the Georgias and the Bamas and the Ohio States and the Michigans win it all. This is why we didn't like the 14 playoff, because teams like Washington and what's their name? They get to the national championship and they lose big games. Right now, you've got to get through 3 games.
What team you talking about? What team you talking about losing big games in the championship game? What team was that?
Washington.
And who else? You gonna say somebody else after that?
No, I was gonna say TCU, but I just stopped it at
Washington. I thought I saw you revving up to say Notre Dame again because
those losers aren't even playing football right now, so we don't got to talk about TCU. TCU plays football, so they had a big game and they won. Notre Dame could have had that moment in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. They chose not to, so we're not even going to talk about it.
It's 11:57. I'm about to go outside and make noise, man. I get with y'all on the field.
All right, man.
Make a lot of noise. All right.
I'm good. No, overall tonight, I think it was I thought it was a great game. But I just think with the landscape college football is in, Daryl, I like this format because you just look at all the complaints of the 14 playoff. And now if the biggest complaint is, the buys have time to rest.
Well, every time there's a complaint, and that's what I was great. The point I was great to make before Ramon dropped off. Here's my issue with this, right? Back in the day, there wasn't any playoffs. It was just a UPI and AP poll, and you got a winner. Then you went to the Bowl Championship Series, right? Then you went to the 4 teams. Then you go to 12. It doesn't matter. So somebody's going to be PO because their team either lost or had a tough game, and then they lost the next game. So it doesn't. Listen, they could get a 2-week break. They could get a 1-week break. They could get a 12-day break. Someone's going to find something to complain about. That team across the field from you have played the exact same amount of players as you do, 11 on each side. Figure it out. If you know you're going to be out for 27 days, 15 days, 19 days, whatever number is, that's coach your guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can just say, well, the reason why we lost is because we were out for 3.5 weeks. I'm calling bullshiggity on that.
Poor excuse.
I'm calling bullshit. Listen, your team loses. You say that team across the field, across the line from us, played better when it mattered most, and that's what happened.
Because
I'm just saying. Listen, I sat on this damn show 3 different weeks after Bama got their butt whooped, owned it, said they got smoked, and the better team was across the field.
Yeah.
Sometimes the other team is just better than you. It's not just, well, it was raining and we had listen, Miami fumbled the ball on that drive and they were going in for a touchdown. Turnovers happen. Missed tackles happen. I think it was only 3 flags thrown the whole game. So sometimes it was just the other team was just better. And you just have to own that. Now, with that said, is there going to be tweaks? Yeah, of course there's going to be tweaks. You know why it's going to be tweaks? Because people are going to always have something to say about that. As opposed to say, well, we own this loss. They played better than us. Next year we'll be better.
Yeah.
The 3 teams that are going to lose tomorrow need to say that. We're going to get on this show. If Bama loses, I'm going to do my best assessment of what I see, not what I feel.
Yeah.
Field goal kickers, whatever. And that's what you got to do. I'm not going to listen. I don't care what. If we're talking sports, and you love your team, you love your Cowboys, you love the Lakers. Last year, when the Pacers lost in Game 7, I sat right here on this show. Oh Lord, I sat around this show. Okay, enough of that. So, you know. It's still here. Can you turn this?
Yeah.
Because one point being is this. I sat around this show, Game 7 after the Pacers lost. Owned it. You didn't hear me say nothing about, we would have won if Tyrese would have happened. If they would have called this. If this guy, we can all, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. So enough of the ifs. Your team lined up 11 on 11. They got beat. If there was something that you saw as a coach coaching one of these teams, you fix it before the game. Don't come after the fact. Oh well, no, it happened. You lose. Own it. Indiana or Alabama is going to lose tomorrow. Both coaches are going to stamp on that podium and own it. Yeah. Same way with Texas Tech and Oregon. Same way with Georgia and Ole Miss. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to drop myself down and say, well, it's my team. I'm going to make, 17 excuses for them if they lose or win, right? And I'm not saying that we're making excuses, but I'm saying it's easy to say they lost, but.
Yep.
I'm just saying, I'm mindful of that, and I'm wary of that. You lost. There's no buts. Bama takes a loss tomorrow. I'm going to be on this show tomorrow saying, here's what I saw. They took their loss. And they've got to lick their wounds and wait till next season.
Yeah.
Same thing with IU, and all I'm hoping is with how the way Indiana sports has turned out the last couple months, I just hope I just hope no key players get hurt in the middle of the game that could affect the dynamics of the football game. If Simpson goes, that's all I hope for. I just hope Mendoza doesn't go down. I hope Omar Cooper doesn't go down. Somebody that can change the course of the game goes down. That's all I don't want, because that's what you've seen happen with the Pacers.
And that creates a challenge. But here's the deal with that, though. That happens, though. In NBA, in NCAA basketball, college football, when 4 years ago, Bama lost their 2 receivers, Mechie and Jamison. out.
Yep.
Championship game. Oh well, you got guys behind them. Put them in the game.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying you for this state in the past 11 months, in the past 6-8 months, you saw Caitlin Clark go down in the playoff before even the playoffs got started. You saw Halliburton go down in Game 7. Daniel Jones goes down when they were 8-2, but it already looked like they were trending to go downhill anyways. So, but the main two are the Fever and the Pacers because you look at where they ended up. You can pull the Colts a little farther back from that convo. That's all I am saying here. I just don't want to see that happen.
I guess just from my perspective, I don't see it that way. I just see you got hurt, you get injured, next man up, man.
If Mendoza tears his Achilles in the first quarter or something, and that affects the game no matter what, because you're the guy that's taking all the reps in all the first team reps, the backup comes in. It's a completely different game. We can disagree on that, but that's just
we're not going to disagree. I agree. It is a game changer, but oh well. That's what I'm saying. If Mendoza goes out in the first quarter with a torn Achilles, it is absolutely going to change the game. Next man up. Next. That's all I'm saying. You can't sit back here. Well,
that's true.
If he wouldn't have got hurt, okay, say he doesn't get hurt and they lose. Now what's the excuse?
Well, that's my point. I agree with you.
We're always looking for a reason why. In this society of the national media, the online deal, podcasts, and networks, we're all you seen this, right? A team loses by 3 points when they miss a field goal or don't kick a field goal. Vegas made the call. Stop. But you know what I'm talking about. You see it. Vegas made the call. Yeah. Stop. Your team lost. Move on.
I think another good example is we find someone to blame. I think a lot, like, for example, Swagoo was on Monday Night Football on the pre-show, and he ripped in about everyone's blaming Lamar Jackson for how this season went, and they were like, well, you guys were hating on him or giving him all this praise when he was in AFC Championship games, but then blaming him when he lost and when it's his tight end that drops the football and all these other things or whatever, and then they have one bad season, and now you're harping on him. And I think Swagoo makes a great point with that. That's I think you make a good case. All I'm saying is, for the sake of this state tomorrow, I hope, even if they lose, I just hope everyone stays healthy. That's all I'm hoping for. I want Indiana to win, but at the same time, I don't want to see an injury. And even if it doesn't happen then, I don't want it to happen in a bigger moment.
But can't you say that in any athletic event? You don't want to see guys get hurt, right?
I'm just saying it. With the way things have unfolded for the state of Indiana sports,
sometimes you can bring things on yourself. You keep talking about them, though, man. Sometimes you in other words, you can't claim those things, right?
Yeah.
I've heard so many people. Oh, but the injuries we had, you're talking it up, man. You not you yourself, but if it keeps talking, what happens is you bring that to light. It keeps coming. Just. Look, man, we hope that all those players are healthy when they leave the field. We hope the best players are there to make the plays. And still, somebody in Vegas made the call.
Very true. Very true.
It just fires me up, right? Because I'm looking at my timeline and I'm seeing Ohio State fans blaming the kicker. I'm seeing Ohio State fans blaming this and what's wrong with just saying we lost the game, man? That's my only point into this whole 1 hour deal. Just take the loss, take it like a man or take it like a woman, and be better next week, next month, next year, or whenever it is.
There's reasons why Ohio State lost, right? There's not a.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because Miami was better.
Yes.
Closed book. That's it.
Yeah.
All that other stuff is just window dressing.
Well, there's a couple exceptions, right? When the Cowboys play bad in the playoffs, it's Dak Prescott's fault. We're not gonna give everybody grace around here. That's not.
You have to give grace. You have to give grace
in some aspects, but look, Bill's got to get paid. Stuff's got to be said. I'm not gonna. I opened the show comparing Julian Sayins to Kyle Orton. Like, let's just call it like it is. All right. Obviously, Sayin didn't play that bad. I'm just
also why I do this, man, because in today's climate, in all seriousness, right? In today's climate, so many people take to the social media sites and threaten these players, You did this. I lost money because of you. People have gotten hurt because of this blame game deal, and it's someone's fault. Here's the thing I learned a long time in leadership ago. It's not always somebody's fault when things don't go right. It's not always somebody's fault. So, and unfortunately, in this climate, it's always someone's fault. It's always someone's fault. So how about we talk about the lineman that missed the block that got Sayin sacked? How about, how about those things? How about the coach that was prepared to make a play on here, make this call, but he didn't make that call. He called another play. That's all I'm saying, right? We don't see those things, right? And we don't talk about those things. We talk about the peripheral. It was outside. It was a field goal kicker. He missed the field. He missed the kick. That's there for everybody to see. But we don't talk about the linemen, the missed blocks, missed tackles. So I'm saying, I mean, not trying to be a Debbie Downer on it, but man, you just gotta own it, man. I'm never gonna be on this show and not own it. You can say what you want, Daryl. You're a homer, you're a pacer, homer, you're this, all those wonderful things. But I'm never going to sway and push blame elsewhere just to make myself try to feel better.
And that's very respectable for sure. But I will
gotta be.
I will say, Tyrese the Pacers would have won the finals if it wasn't for that. Des caught the ball. That's all I'm gonna say. I will feed.
You sound like Reggie. I swear you. My boy, man. Hey, we argue to this day still, and this is the end of December. This is January, but it's January now, and it's just. I get it.
I will feed into it a little bit. The Pacers would have won the finals if Tyrese wouldn't have went down. Des did catch the ball.
Hey, listen. When you say those things, also remember what I always say: if a frog had wings.
I'm gonna mute you. I don't need to hear that again. I'm cool.
Hey, but in all fun, right? This is of course this is always good when we get on here to speak about stuff, and it's important to share different point of views. I've said this before, you've said before. We're not going to get on here and I agree with you, you agree with me, we agree. Okay, let's find this. If you have a differing opinion, it's important to share it. Now we're not going to contrive something to make it look like we disagree, but then when we get off air, yeah, man, we got them going good, didn't we? We both agreed on that, really, but we didn't. Yeah, but yeah, I just think it's important to share different perspectives, man.
Yeah,
and as a fan, the hardest thing to do is look in the camera and say we got our butts whooped. Hardest thing in the world to do.
When the Lakers lost to Minnesota last year, did I come on here and make excuses? No, I talked about Reddick. I talked about how bad they played. I talked about Reddick playing the starting five the whole game, which you said, they're starting five caliber play like we did. So I came on here and I said.
Well, I also said Reddick was not the good coach that people want. Well, he wants people to think he is either. I still think he's in over his head. What happened with all the tough talk about him? There's going to be some uncomfortable conversations in the locker room. What happened there? Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
They call it grandstanding.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly.
Speaking of basketball, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Grace College tonight.
Yes, sir.
They were this to end the show off a little bit. Just a quick shout out to Grace College. Got the great chance to watch
picture too, man.
I don't have the picture on my computer, so I can't. I don't have the picture.
It's on my X.
I uploaded this while we were at the game, though.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the picture on me. Yeah. I didn't have the picture on me when I uploaded this because we were still at the stadium, as you can see. Pacers lost to the Magic, but me and Daryl are not mad about that, right? AJ DeBonta, maybe in this stadium in a couple of months.
Sometimes wins come in different shapes, sizes, and forms.
Yeah. So, big shout out to Scott Moore. If you can, go give him a follow right here. Head men's basketball coach at Grace College. But what he probably wants you to do is go follow Grace Basketball. There is their Twitter right here. Let me hover over that a little more. Thank you to them and Scott Moore as well for inviting us out to the game. He hooked us up with some merch. We hooked him up with the game time T-shirt. So big shout out to Scott Moore. It was a great experience. We stayed for the first half, and then we come to find out, my buddy Billy D with the final update, they won 109-79. Daryl, they took care of business as we assumed they would. It was a tough stretch there in the first half, but towards the end of the first half, they started to pull away. And we'll shout them out. Ian Rosh, number 12. Bad man, huh? Bad man. Oh,
bad dude. Hey, listen, if you're a sports junkie, you need to follow NAIA school, Grace College, and Scott Moore. Not only is Scott Moore a hell of a coach,
you also need to follow this man right here.
Yeah, Cascade as Hoops Talk. But going back to Scott Moore, great coach, great personality. So we were in the seats watching the game. So Grace was down 29-21, and Isaiah said, "Man, look how calm he is over there." And he says, and I'm not gonna say the other person says, "I know some coaches that wouldn't be so calm," but I said, "There's a reason why he's calm." Then when I got home, I looked at the score. And I said, "That's why he was calm.
Calm.
He knows what he has."
Yeah,
and he was cool as a cucumber. Hey, he looked like a combination of who am I thinking here?
Tony Dungy.
No, yeah, Tony Dungy and Tony Dungy. That's a good one. Just calm as can be. And he realized, we'll probably get him by about 30 tonight. No big deal. And
it was a good experience. If you want to get into NAIA hoops, I would give this great man a follow. Billy D, Cascade Hoops Talk. Make sure to give them a follow. Happy New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, Daryl. 2026. Hopefully it's the year of game time. We will see how 2026 goes. Thank you guys for all the love and support. This wouldn't be possible without our sponsors, Matt Gaddis and Wired to the 9. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to Grace College as well for getting the win. Daryl, I'm gonna let you get to bed. I'm gonna get to bed. What a day this has been, though.
Yeah, good stuff. Really appreciate everybody chiming in. The commentary was really good. I like that. We want more and more and more of that. Definitely be sure that you subscribe to the show. And a lot of people are watching the show. Subscribe so you can get these alerts and get in that algorithm so you can see some of our debates. Me and Ramon going at it. Me and Isaiah going at it. If we have a guest on, we'll go at it as well too. So get in there and subscribe and show us that love. And if you've got commentary about what you like to hear and see, drop us a line. Our socials are there. We respond. Yeah. We don't act as though we're somebody that's better than others. We want the feedback, but we want to continue to get better. And going into 2026, we got big plans for our show, especially potentially even going on the road. Wink, wink. So we want to do everything we can to provide a platform of sports, fun, hijinks, but also we want to create an environment that you all can trust, and it has some character to it, and we have some little bit of love too for our home teams.
Yeah. Hey, Notre Dame. I don't have the volume up. Hold on.
Notre Dame fans, go at him. Go at him, please, in the comments. Get him.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Good, man.
My team would have played in a bowl game. That's all I'm saying. My IU East Red Wolves, they had a football team and they got invited. They would have played. Whether they would have lost by 30 or won by 4. They would have played. That's all I'm saying, man. So shout out to all the Indiana fans. The Hoosier fans, let's see what happens tomorrow. I have Bama winning, but I want Indiana to win. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to be like Oregon. Go Lakers. Thanks for putting that up there, Daryl. They got whooped by Detroit. I know that made you smile. A golly grin, but they'll get it figured out at the deadline. At least.
Hey, they got a great coach. He's going to pound his fist and he's going to look in the camera and say, "There's going to be some uncomfortable conversations." It's
yeah. It's going to be a hard practice this weekend too. That's what we're told. So we'll talk about it a little more on probably Friday. Will be our NBA stream. We do plan to go live tomorrow night after all the games. I may not have as much knowledge on that as sadly I do have to work, but I'm gonna try to watch them as I can. Daryl,
man.
It's going to be a fun day tomorrow. It'll be a fun Friday as well. We'll see you guys for another episode of Game Time Live tomorrow. That's going to do it. You're watching the Game Time.